What is good, everybody? What is good? Big Game James. I'm back in the building, and y'all know what it is. Tough loss against these Buffalo Bills. I'm gonna be short and sweet. I ain't gonna be long. It's not that I'm miserable or anything like that. I just kind of figured that this was gonna happen. So I want to play you a couple clips of some things that I thought were gonna happen coming up towards this game, and then we'll just kind of just talk about the game in general, and then we'll kind of just head up out of here. But I'm gonna pull this up right quick, just for something y'all to see. This was Best of Enemies show we did at the beginning of the season, where I said the Cowboys were going to end the season at 13-4. They're 10-4 right now. What's good, everybody? 13-4. I said they were going to be 13-4. They're 10-4 right now. But I want you to listen to a few clips that I already kind of talked about before this Buffalo Bills game came up.
The flip-flop, in my opinion, this is the tough one because somebody just mentioned, because remember, I think, didn't we talk, maybe if it was you or not, but remember when we were talking about the scheduling, I think it might have been my dude, Mike White. We were talking about when they scheduled Buffalo. I told everybody they were going to schedule Buffalo when it was cold.
Yep.
So look at the end of the year when we play Buffalo. That was on purpose because we play Buffalo in the cold. So that's the only way where that's the flip-flop. Okay, you understand what I'm saying, Joe? We could lose that game in Buffalo because of that cold weather where they scheduled us on purpose to put us in the cold. Okay, if we lose that Buffalo game, we're going to beat Miami. But if we beat Buffalo, we're going to lose to Miami. So understand how I'm saying this? Yeah. So I said we beat Buffalo. I don't know. I'm going to just stay with it because I stuck my chest out there and to say we lose to Miami the next week.
So yeah, that's the first thing. So I already said that. The Buffalo game was a weird game. I already told you the schedule makers. Buffalo only gave up 10-point average of 14 points a game in Buffalo. And if y'all watched me on the shows all week, I said this was the wonky game. This was the wonky game. I put it on Twitter. I said this was the wonky game on Twitter. I said this game or Miami. It was between these two games were going to be the weird games because they're AFC games. They're weird games. And I just felt like Buffalo was going to be dumb hyped to play us. They were going to be getting up to play us. Their defense was going to play good. It just felt like, and they were just pumping Dallas up, pumping Dallas up. Dak Prescott MVP. This Dallas team looks like a Super Bowl team. I just feel like we won 5 in a row. The fall was coming, and I felt like this was the game. Although I said we were going to win, I think I was just trying to talk myself into the win when deep down inside, I felt we were going to lose because it just felt like it was going to be that game. But also, what else that I've been screaming for about as well, and I had talked about this as well, that got exposed. And I'll bring this up on here. Where are we at? So this is what I had to say about the linebacker situation. This in short, but I have been honing on this linebacker situation. This was about when Darius Leonard was thinking about coming to Dallas. This is what I had to say about this Darius Leonard
thing. Marquise Bell is playing out of his mind, but I think the Cowboys understand that, hey, number one, LVE's not playing. Number two, Marquise Bell is playing out of his mind, but he's still undersized, okay? He's only 208 pounds, and he's a dog, but he's still undersized. Rashaan Evans, we like he's starting to, get his feet wet.
See right there? What I tell you, I've been saying this about Marquise Bell ever since the Arizona game. I've been saying I love how Marquise Bell's playing, and I love where they were doing with him, but they kept them 6 safeties. You lost DeMarvion Overshown. You lost LVE. You finally picked up Rashaan Evans, and you're not playing him like that because you have your favorites, Dan Quinn. You have your favorites. They're just like, and I'm gonna keep on saying this, and I can go back to my tweet that I made at the late November, how the Dallas Cowboys defense has given up about 30-some points a game on the road to their opponents. 42 against San Francisco, what, 26 against Arizona, 28 against Philly, and now 31 against the Buffalo Bills. Teams are scoring a lot of points on this defense away from home. And I also made a video where I talked about the first time Dallas Cowboys would have real home field advantage because they won 14 in a row. This is the first time they've really been good at home, because usually they're good on the road. And now they probably won't even have a playoff game at home because of these things. Now, I don't think this thing on the road is a huge thing, because I feel like Dallas can win on the road. I just feel like this was just one of those games. That's why I'm not tripping on this game so much, because I had already forecast this. When I already forecast this in my heart, I don't be as mad when the outcome comes, because I already felt that this was going to be the outcome. You get what I mean? Sorry if I'm not sorry. Oh, whatever, dog. Whatever. Any Philly fans that are talking any kind of trash, you really can't. Because here's the two things that when people are trying to switch this about how Philly is, oh, we beat Buffalo. Philly's saying we beat Buffalo. We beat Buffalo. Okay, you beat Buffalo in Philly. Okay, you didn't go to Buffalo and you didn't play Buffalo in Buffalo. Buffalo's a different team at home. I just said I think they're 6-1 now, or 6-2 now at home. Their defense is way better. Their team plays way better at home. Their defense only gives up an average of 14 a game. Okay. And even in their losing margins, they were only giving up losing by an average of 4 points a game. So we can just tell you this, that Philadelphia did not play Buffalo at Buffalo. Philly played them at home. And y'all went to overtime and won. I mean, y'all won, but 59-yard field goal with 16 seconds left in the game, that usually doesn't happen. Let's keep it real. 59 field goals are not the norm in the NFL. Most field goal kickers are missing a 59-yarder with time going off the clock. Let's keep it real. And I'm going to still say it. Josh Allen, you still missed that big play for the touchdown to win that game when you only got a field goal. So I don't really think those two are the same. And I can also say to Philly fans, you didn't kill us at your place. You won in the last minutes of the game. We destroyed you at home. There's a difference, just to me. So I ain't even tripping on the refs, because I already kind of knew that. But I already said it. Marquise Bell is too small for the linebacker position. And when you play good teams would expose that. Okay, good teams would expose. You lost LVE. You didn't have Armia showing. You're not really playing Rashad Evans because you have your favorites. Shaq Leonard went over to Philly because he didn't feel like he was going to get a lot of playing time, because he was going to be a rotational player, because Dan Quinn has his favorites in Damone Clark and Marquise Bell and J-Ron Kearse. Now, I don't think J-Ron Kearse nor Donovan Wilson are the greatest in pass coverage, but I'm going to still say this. There were plays where J-Ron Kearse, there was a couple of times that he was out there on the edge, he gets wrong, went inside again, and then he gets peeled by the blocker. Like, I just feel like he's just a step slow this whole season. I just feel like it, and I feel like this defense, it's a good defense. I thought it was elite defense, but I took that back. I don't think it's an elite defense. I think it's a good defense, but I always have to tell myself, if this defense plays good, then Dallas can really have a good game. I don't really feel like it was more the offense, in my opinion. Yes, the offense had its struggles. Yes, Dak had his struggles, but I just feel like when the defense kind of just gets ran through early, it ends up being a Seattle. We escaped that game. Okay, you feel me? Like, we escaped that game. When they jump on our defense early, it's like a dogfight, because it's like when it rains, it pours. It snowballs on the defense. Once you get up on Dallas's defense early, it snowballs with that defense, and it kind of just like they got to kind of bend, don't break at the end. But they're not a dominant defense because they're not heavy. You see the missing of Hankins. Mozzie is this whole year he's been You got Chauncey Golston, who's really not. I mean, he's an inside guy, but he's really not an inside guy for the NFL standards. Then Osa's a nasty 3-tech, but they're still undersized. So when you lose a Hankins and Mozzie's not really doing it, your teams are going to concentrate. And teams said, hey, you don't got Hankins in the game, we're going to run at you. But it wasn't really the middle. It was more the edges. Our safety play, those linebackers, they're undersized. Damone Clark, I said he had to have a big game. I said all week, Damone Clark, he has to have, I said linebackers have to have a good game this whole week. I said it. Linebackers have to have a good game this whole week. And also said that Marquise Bell was undersized, and eventually a good team was going to use those blockers and expose him. And that's what happened today. And also, Damone Clark, I said he's a high volume tackle guy, but he's not an impactful tackle guy. It's almost like Jalen Smith. When Jalen Smith was getting 13, 14 tackles in the game, but they were never impactful tackles. And that was the issue with our linebackers. Marquise Bell is really a safety, playing linebacker, and when those other teams get to expose it, it's going to suffer in the run game. Damone Clark is not really a physical linebacker. He'll get you tackles, but he doesn't get impactful tackles. He's not making plays in the backfield. He gets exposed in coverage at times, as you saw against James Cook. And I said, and I can play this right now. We talked about the Big Star Show. This is some of the stuff I said on here as well. Don't slip. That's why I'm not tripping on this team. You feel me? I'm not tripping on Buffalo because I said this even on the Big Star Show. Check this out. And I said, now this is what I had highlight about these Buffalo Bills. Also, what I've noticed in 4 of their 6 losses, they've rushed as a team under 100 yards. So, and also in 4 of those 6 losses, Josh Allen, and all those 6 losses, he's averaging around close to 40 passes a game. So what you want to do is definitely get them one-dimensional. They're not a great running team, but they run enough to kind of keep it good for Josh. You get what I'm saying? So this is what a situation where we need to really smother their run game, smother James Cook, Latavius whatever his damn first name is, Latavius Murray, smother them early and get Josh to throw the ball a lot. They had 4 turnovers in multiple games. They had 4 turnovers, and Josh Allen has been one of the leading people in that. So I'm going to pull this up. It's your 4 keys to the game, and we'll start with this one. But let me get this question out right quick, Star. Mark. Let's see if we get it right.
Like, I don't know.
And this is what we're talking about, the keys.
I think they are, because it's going to be at their house, and it's going to be crazy.
Yes, absolutely. This will be probably.
And see, basically what I was saying in this game was, and I highlighted in our show Thursday, was Buffalo in 4 of their 6 losses, they only as a team rushed for 100 yards. Only as a team rushed for 100 yards. And 4 of their 6 losses, meaning keep them under 100 yards as a team, you're probably going to beat them. That didn't happen. When they focus on the run, and you saw getting James Cooks more involved, when they focus on the run and take that pressure off Josh Allen where he is not throwing, when he was throwing about 38 to 48 times a game, they weren't winning. He was having turnovers. They were losing the turnover battle. Also, I said in this game, Dak was going to throw an interception in this game. I felt like this was just going to be a game where the weather was going to be in the way, that the crowd, just the raucousness. I felt like they were going to be able to run in this game, and it just all those things that I thought were going to happen in this game happened. Okay. And shout out to everybody. I haven't been able to look at everybody in the comments, but I'll look at it now since I'm not going to be on here too much longer. I can look at the comments. I wasn't able to see the comments or any kind of questions. But, like I said before, I'm not tripping off this game. People are talking about, I see Philly in here talking about Joe talking about Dak and the MVP. I'm going to keep it real. I never cared about no MVP. Okay. Never cared about the MVP. If it happened, it happened. But as an MVP, you knew any little game that you don't have is going to be bad. And eventually, I mean, even if you won the rest of your games and lost in the playoffs, that Buffalo game wouldn't have mattered if you won in the regular season, if you lose in the playoffs. And as I said before, 10-4, I didn't feel like the Dallas was going to win the division anyway after they lost that game against Arizona. I felt like they weren't going to win the division after they lost that game. And it already came up like a sore thumb. I already felt like they were probably going to go on the road anyway. And really, the defense, in my opinion, is that really has got to tighten up more than anything else. I think the offense is still okay. I think it's showed. I think, even where Dak, the team wasn't greatest, the offensive line obviously suffered when Zach Martin went out. Hopefully he gets better. I don't think TJ Bass played terrible. But I just feel like it was more the defense. They jumped on us early, bad penalties once again, but it was bad penalties by the defense. You saw when it was 7-0, Sam Williams with he's had two kind of miscues on the special teams. 7-0, you get a running into the kicker, and then guess what? They go down and score again. That hurt. Roughing J-Ron Curse, and I don't think that was a bad penalty, but you get bad penalties on the defense whenever the team is losing. If you looked at the Cowboys games, whenever they give up a high volume of points and numbers across the board, the defense always has a lot of penalties. Go look at it. When Dallas loses these games, or whenever they give up a high amount of points, they have a lot of defensive penalties. That has something that Dan Quinn has to rectify. I don't know if I can blame Mike McCarthy on all that, when we had opportunities to go after linebackers and waited until something happened. And then we go out there and try to get it and fix it. And then when you do get a linebacker that probably can't help you more in the run game, you don't play him. Rashaan Evans is there, and you don't play him because you have that loyalty to Damone Clark, or you have that loyalty to J-Ron Curse, or this loyalty to these safeties playing your backer positions, and it gets exposed. And they're going to get exposed because they're not a heavy team. They're not a team that is a heavy team across the board, and they're more of a speed team. They're more of a rushing team. They're more of a team that can get after the quarterback. And if you don't get after the quarterback early, and like you said, Hankins is hurt, and you don't really have that muscle in the middle, your backers, like I said, they will get exposed. If teams can get to that second level, those guys will get exposed. Shout out to who's this dropped out this here right here? Is that Stelios? Shout out to Stelios with the $2 holla. Said you better listen to BGJ, and you feel it on you Philly trolls. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you what's going on. Appreciate you, Stelios. I mean, and they talk about the fumble and not challenging. I don't really think that had anything to do with it. This was the Dallas defense. This was Dallas's defense. Let's just keep it all the way real. This was the Dallas defense, not really coming to play. I'm not saying the offense didn't play bad, because it wasn't great, but this to me is more on the defense. Defensive penalties, defensive miscues. We're not strong at the linebacker position. Damone Clark is okay, but like I said, high volume, high volume tackler, but not impactful at all. And Marquise Bell, as good as he has played at the linebacker position, he's a safety. He's 208 pounds. I just told you with Darius Leonard, even though he's undersized, he's 233. Marquise Bell is 208 pounds, and he looks it. I just looked at an interview of him sitting with Micah Parsons, Deron Bland. It was Marquise Bell. Marquise Bell is small. Okay, he is 208, probably 205, and you're playing linebacker. That will get exposed. Okay, good teams will expose that, and I knew Buffalo was going to do it. You got Jonathan Hankins out. Teams that stick with the run can beat Dallas. Even though Dallas has, if you look at Dallas throughout the years, even when you drafted Mozzie, Dallas throughout the years have had defenses. I remember Ron Marinelli when they had all those turnover year, 2014. They had all those turnovers. And they were only giving up like 89 yards a game. but that's because they were jumping on teams early with their offense in 2014. They were doing it with their offense in 2014, jumping on teams early, making the teams get out of their game plan, and then they abandoned the run. It wasn't that they had a stout run defense in 2014 when they were only giving up 89 yards a game. It was because they were jumping on teams early offensively, and they were making teams abandon the run. If teams always stayed with the run against Dallas, they beat Dallas. I said that in 2016 when that defense, it was pretty good, but they were only giving, and 2018, they were giving up like under 100 yards. It was because teams weren't staying with the run. It wasn't because we had a stout run defense. It's because teams weren't staying with the run. When teams have always decided to stay with the run with Dallas, they always seem to beat us. Shout out to my dog, Joey Coco 99. He comes with a $30 holla. Ooh wee, hey ho. It's a $30 holla. Micah needs help. Our linebackers look timid. Wanye Thomas, do you think he needs more playing time? Yes, I definitely. And Wanye did get playing time because actually Malik Hooker was out this game. So Wanye Thomas played a considerable amount of snaps, and I thought he played well. But I think the issue is Rashaan Evans probably needs to play more in that run game. Damone Clark does not. And because Dan Quinn has that loyalty to Damone Clark, Rashaan Evans is not getting in the game, and I think he's better in the run game. I told you last year he had like 159 tackles. He wasn't the greatest in the run game, but he had 159 tackles last year with the Atlanta Falcons. He had impactful tackles. He's more a physical linebacker than a Damone Clark. Damone Clark is more a finesse guy, more than physical guy, more athletic guy, more than the physical guy. And I think Rashaan Evans brings more to the table than he does. And that's why I think he should be on early downs. But because, like I said, DQ has that loyalty to Quinn, to Damone Clark, he doesn't play. What's good, Eric? So, yeah. So, those things, and that safety, I keep on saying J-Ron Curse. I ain't hating on J-Ron, but he's just not the same guy he's been the last 2 years, and I feel like he's getting exposed as well. Donovan Wilson's not great in coverage. He's good. They're both box safeties. But, J-Ron is not the best in coverage. And there were plays where Dalton Kincaid missed a couple passes. But the biggest thing, if teams are smart, they stay against the run. When teams have been hard-headed and stayed with the run against Dallas, they beat us. You saw when the Denver Broncos played us and they weren't a good team, they stayed with the run, beat us. We've seen teams that just stay with it, don't go away from it, and just keep on pounding us and pounding us and pounding us, and eventually it breaks. And I said, even in this game, throughout the week, I said this game was going to be on our linebackers, not really so much the front line, but I said this game was going to be on our linebackers and our safeties. And it was. This game was on our linebackers and safety because they were getting the second level and they were getting out to the outsides. They weren't setting the edge. You got Micah, who is a great pass rusher. But yes, they could probably I seen some tweets talking about play Micah more as a linebacker, not the edge. I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. Yes, Micah has the speed, but I just don't think Micah is great in the run game. As I've seen him these 3 years, Micah is more of a pass rusher. He is not more of a linebacker. He came out of high school as an edge rusher. Remember that. They converted him to linebacker at Penn State. He was an edge rusher in high school, edge rusher, not a linebacker. He was an edge rusher. They converted him to linebacker at Penn State. When you watch him in these games, Micah, just to me, doesn't have that same fervor as he does rushing the quarterback. Okay. And I know where he talked about, I like in his first year, I want to play an off-ball linebacker because I like, being moved around. You can't get a beat on me. Yeah, I hear you. And I'm not hating on Micah, but I'm just saying, when I watch him in the games, he doesn't have that same passion going after and making tackles on running backs that he has the passion of getting sacks. Okay. That's just my opinion. How I watch him. I was watching him. He was doing this and getting frustrated. And like I said, I seen him. He don't have that same passion chasing running backs. He don't have that same passion when he has to, play the linebacker position where you can't get sacks, get in there and get sacks. That's what he likes to do. That's what he's used to do. And when he can't do that, I see frustration in him. I see frustration. I'm not saying he's just a sack guy, numbers guy. I'm not saying that, but he's more of an edge guy than he is a linebacker. And, I had to look at him for 3 years now. What is he more, a linebacker? Or is he an edge guy? He's more of an edge guy. That's where more of his impact is, on the edge or rushing the quarterback. He doesn't make the great impact as a linebacker because I feel like he doesn't want to. I don't feel like let me stop, because I don't want to make it look like I'm dissing Micah, like he take plays off. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying he don't play with the same passion chasing down running backs or taking on blockers to make a running tackle than that passion of rushing a quarterback, if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, there you have it, Trey. I mean, that's the truth right here. Bottom line, he wants edge money. You don't get paid as a linebacker. You get paid on the edge. You get paid for sacks. And people can hate on sacks all they want to and say all these things that I hear so many people on Twitter talk about. Sacks don't mean nothing. Sacks don't mean nothing. Always talking about D-Law, great in the run game, but he can't get a sack to save his life. But sacks is what gets you paid. That's what got DeMarcus Lawrence paid. Not being a great run defender and having a 90% run defender rate. Dang what got him paid. He got paid for getting sacks. He's an edge guy. He got paid for sacks. He didn't get paid for run defense. He got paid for sacks. And that's what Michael wants to get paid for, sacks. Okay, in his first 3 years, he did something that only 2 NFL defensive players have done. He wants to have sack money, and how you get it on the edge. And I just don't think he has that same passion playing that linebacker position as he does the edge. And it hurts us because we don't have true linebackers right now. You got a more finesse. You got a finesse backer in Damone Clark, and you have a undersized, you have a safety playing linebacker. You have LVE who's out, DeMar Overshown, and you don't play Rashaan Evans. So you're going to have a problem when you have teams that will stick with the ball running game. Now, the good thing about it is that the Eagles have Jalen Hurts and the Niners have Brock Purdy. They still like to rely on them quarterbacks, right? They aren't hard-headed like these other teams and sticking with the run. Because if you look at the last 2 meetings with McCaffrey, he had 19 carries for 48 yards in the first meeting. He wasn't really running on us. In that playoff game, he only had 36 yards. San Francisco isn't hard-headed with it. They'll start using Brock Purdy and throw it because they like Purdy and they trust him with his arm, right? So they aren't hard-headed with it to keep handing off. That's what keeps us in the game. I mean, even though we got blown out, but it was Purdy throwing that ball. That's what keeps them in the game. And the Eagles, they didn't run on us those last 2 meetings. They didn't run on us with Swift both games or Jalen Hurts because they didn't stick with it. They get away from it and they start throwing the ball because they got Jalen Hurts and they want to throw the ball. They want to get A.J. Brown involved. They want to get Devontae Smith in. So they go away from the run. If them 2 teams would stick with the run, then we might be in trouble. But because they got those 2 quarterbacks, they tend to go away from it and throw the ball because they can. And that helps the Dallas Cowboys, and it helps the Dallas Cowboys defense because then they can pin their ears back, rush the quarterback, and it falls into their plans. But if teams like the Niners and the Eagles, if they would have stayed with that run, they abandoned it quickly, then I think it might have been a different story. Because teams who are hard-headed with us and say, we're going to out-physical you no matter what, we're going to stay with this no matter what, they run on us and it's successful. And look what the Cardinals did. They said, we ain't really going to throw the ball on you. We're going to throw the ball on when we need to, but we're going to establish the run and we're going to stay with the run. And when they did that, what happened? Yeah, you're right, Trey. They didn't attack those middles. They didn't attack the middles. But once again, I feel like it was more this defense than this offense. Um, we didn't attack the middles, but that offensive line was not the greatest. Zach Martin going out hurt, but that offensive line, Dak was getting a lot of pressure all game. I don't make no excuses for him for sure, but he was getting a lot of pressure that whole damn game. So it wasn't like that offensive line was killing it in the passing game. He didn't have a lot of lanes, and I just feel like, yeah, they definitely should attack the middle more, attack the seams more, because we know what the Buffalo Bills were. They're more too high, cover two. They're not gonna let you beat you with anything deep, but so you got to attack the underneath, and that's what Dallas didn't do. Shout out to Joey Coco 99 again for the $25 holla. We gotta make sure when you get in the comment section tomorrow, I give you the highlights for two, the $30 holla and the $25 holla, $55 holla in 10 minutes. Gotta give Joey Coco number 99. Big shout out to you, dog. He says, Micah, they're consistently running at him. We don't have any David Irvings, Randy Gregory's. When Tampa went to Super Bowl, they had two real linebackers. I feel you. Now, Randy Gregory, don't think he was the greatest in the run game, so I'm not going to say him, but David Irving, definitely. We don't have a David Irving. Jonathan Hankins was a huge thing, but David Irving, yeah, we don't have somebody like that who can play inside and out with that size. We don't have that, and we don't have true linebackers. Let's keep it real. We have more finesse. Even when you had Jabril Cox, I said he was a finesse linebacker. Feel me? Shout out to you, Joey Coco, with the 99, with the two donations. Donation. Hey ho! It's $55 hollers. Shout out to you, big dog. But DQ's got to get better. I feel like it's this defense right now. If we're keeping all the way a buck, I'm not as concerned as the offense right now. For me, I feel like this defense, it's good and it's talented, but that's my concern. And whenever I'm saying if Dallas plays up to their ability, they can beat anybody, right? But now I'm putting it like if Dallas defense play good, just like I said against the Philly game, if Dallas defense comes to play, they're gonna blow the Eagles out, right? If Dallas defense came to play against Buffalo, I think we would have came back and won that game. I definitely think we would have came back and won that game. But that defense was shook daddy when they were running all over us. You could see the body language. You could see the body language from the defense. You could see how they were out of it. I don't want to hear about the flu thing. I get it. The flu, everybody didn't have the flu. It was just, I just feel like I said, Michael was frustrated today. That's the main person I saw. I was looking at. He was frustrated today. Yeah, the holding. I can't say nothing about that. I feel him on his frustration with that, but he don't want to play linebacker. He don't want to be in there getting grimy and making them tackles on running backs all day. And I don't feel like he's on that commitment with that. I think he's committed to attacking that quarterback and getting them sacks and getting that pressure. But I don't see the same fervor in the run game, and I feel like that hurts us. And we have a Damone Clark who's not physical, Marquise Bell who's undersized, and that's our issue right there. And that's what they need to figure out. I don't know if they can, because I don't know if you got the personnel to figure that out. But if teams are smart and they want to stay with that run game, that can be a problem for Dallas down the line. But we'll see. But I'm gonna just say this: I said the Cowboys were going to end up being 13-4 this year. I said they're going to be 12-5 last year. They end up being 12-5. I said they're going to be 13-4. I said this was going to be the flip-flop games. It was going to either be Miami or Buffalo. If they won in Buffalo, they're going to lose in Miami. If they lost in Buffalo, I'm going to say they're going to win in Miami. And I'm going to stay with that. I feel like they're going to beat Miami. I feel like they will beat the Lions, and I feel like they'll beat the Commanders, and they'll still end up 13-4. And they're going to get to the playoffs, and we're going to see what happens. That's kind of me. Yeah, I don't, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying he's selfish. I don't want to be bashing him, but that's just my opinion, what I feel. I just feel, I'm not in the person's head. I don't know what that person thinks, and I'm not on the field playing. So I can't, judge what really is. I can only go by what I feel and what I see. And I think That's the issue, that we really don't have the backers right now. And if that front line gets cracked up a little bit, we have issues on that back end. Martavius Bryant, I don't think it's an issue with him. I don't think Martavius Bryant wasn't an issue today. I feel you, Special K, but I just feel like, you know what, I'm gonna keep it real. It's gonna be nicer weather out there in Miami. I feel like that's gonna be a difference, and I feel like Dallas plays good in Miami. I'm not saying I'm not worried, but I feel like they're not gonna have 2 back-to-back losses. That's just me. I don't feel like Dallas is gonna have 2 back-to-back losses. I know Tyreek Hill, I know Jalen Waddle, I know Devon Achane. He was one of my guys I loved in the draft. He's one of the guys I wanted the Cowboys to draft. Raheem, what got Mostert, got 20 damn touchdowns. So they got the offense, right? I definitely understand it, Tua, but I just feel like Dallas will win that game. If you lose against Buffalo, you're gonna go to the nice weather and play in nice weather Miami and beat Miami. I just feel like you're gonna beat Miami, and then I feel like you're gonna beat the Lions. And Washington, you'll go to Washington because you have to probably win that game, maybe for some seeding, and you're gonna beat them. I just feel like you'll win one, you'll win these next 3. You can win these next 3, and I feel like you will win in Miami. I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah, I know Vic Fangio, and I know he's going to try to run that ball. But also, David Achane, he's more of a speed guy. Maybe that helps us. Power guys kind of hurt us when they run power on us, even though they were getting on the outside. James Cooks runs hard. Devon Achane is more speed. So we really got to relegate that speed and really attack that speed on their team, because they're a speed team. So we'll see. I'm about to head up off here. Thank you for everybody jumping in. Shout out to everybody who gave the donation, especially Joey Coco 99. I ain't gonna just keep talking about the same thing over and over and over. You know what it is. I'm not surprised by this game. I'm not tripping by this game. I thought this was going to happen. I felt like this could definitely be a loss. I was trying to be more positive, thinking they could win it, but deep down in my heart, I thought they was more going to lose it than win it. So that's why I'm not as upset. And the things that I thought were going to be exposed in this game were. So that's why I'm not really upset about this game. I kind of thought it was. You had a 5-game win streak. You were on the high of Dallas this, Dallas that, Dak this, Dak that. I just felt like the setup is coming. The setup is coming. You talked too much about Dallas. You said too much how great of a team we were. You said too much how great Dak Prescott was. You just said all these great things. The fall is coming. The fall was coming. And you're playing an AFC team. You're playing 2 back-to-back AFC teams. AFC teams are always weird with Dallas. And it just looked like the setup was coming. And this was a perfect storm. Buffalo just came off beating the Chiefs. They're at home. They got a good-ass team. People talking about they were 7-6. Man, don't look at that record. They had a damn good team. Anybody said who Buffalo don't have a damn good team is goofy. They already had a good team. They always play good at home. Their defense plays real good at home. So this ain't a surprise. I don't know why people act like this is a surprise that, oh, no, Buffalo's a damn good team, and they got a good team, especially at home. Just like Dallas has a good team when they're at home. That's why they won 14 straight. So I don't know why you think you're going to just go to Buffalo and just whoop them. No, you got to play damn near perfect football to beat them, because they play damn good at home. It's real simple. You have to play a perfect game. Your defense is going to have to come to play all out. If it doesn't, they're going to get their ass kicked. That's how Buffalo plays at home, period. You know what I'm saying? Like 7-6. I mean, yeah, they didn't have a great record, but they're still that record didn't indicate what they were as a team. They were a good team. Yeah, 6-2 at home. You know what I mean? Good at home, only give up 14 points. We scored 10. They only given up 14 points a game. And like I said, their loss margin was only like average, like 4 points by 4 points. Their average loss. So it wasn't like Buffalo was getting blown out in their games. So it's all good. But you know what it is. Make sure y'all look at the shows all week. Burgers and Blitzes, you know. I mean, the final word, you know, I'll probably have my own video. The final word, Burgers and Blitzes, the big star show as we get ready to get Miami on Christmas Eve. I think the Cowboys will win that game. I don't know the beat score, but I feel like the Cowboys will bounce back in that Miami game and win that game. So we'll see. But you know what? You know, when the Cowboys lose, we don't ever play. How about them Cowboys? So that ain't getting no airplay tonight. We just gonna end it, get off here. Thank you for everybody who showed up. Thank you for the donations. Like I said, Joy Coco 99. Shout out to you for the $55 holla altogether. Shout out to everybody who was in the chat. I'm sorry if I didn't recognize everybody in the beginning. If you haven't become a subscriber, become a subscriber. Hit that follow subscriber button. We're almost at 15K. Like I said, I ain't a numbers guy, but make sure you keep on that. And you know what it is. I am out of here. Don't go tripping. And somebody said, you still drinking the Kool-Aid? I wasn't. And boss hit me and said, you drank the Kool-Aid. I sipped the Kool-Aid a little bit. It's cool though. I'm not tripping or backing off. I still feel like the Dallas Cowboys get to an NFC championship game. I definitely feel like you can have it because you're going to play an NFC, most likely play an NFC South team that you can definitely beat. That's one game. And then whoever you go play next, it'll probably either be the Eagles or the Niners, one of those two teams. You can beat those teams. So I'm not tripping. Like, this game did not dictate anything for me, in my opinion. This Buffalo game did not dictate anything for me for the rest of the season or the playoffs. This game did not dictate that. No way, shape, or form did it dictate outcome for me. I just felt like this was going to be that game. So I'll talk to y'all soon. Make sure y'all holler at me during the week. Let's get to that 15K. That'd be pretty dope. And love y'all, and we out.